Yes guys, welcome back to the channel. Yeah, it's been so long, we've been busy, haven't really had time to put anything together. Really need to change that intro though, don't we? It's gosh. Exciting day. So we have got Chris's Cupra. So for those of you that don't know, this is the Cupra that was made famous on Calvin's Car Diary. So it's a 750 horsepower capable, it wasn't running that power at the time, but 750 horsepower capable, four-wheel drive converted, RS3 gearbox converted Cupra. So yeah, so this runs a massive Garret, and this is how it got dropped off a while back, because we have had this for a while. We've just been, I mean, since Sam's car, we've done 5 cars since then. Not everyone wants his film to understand that. So yeah, so Chris has been very patient bearing with us. So yeah, so we have got the task of putting this mammoth jigsaw puzzle back together. When I say jigsaw puzzle, it's not a straightforward build, this one. As you see, it's a sidewinder turbo setup on it. We run a Plex fuel boost controller on it. So a few things I've done so far, because this is all very time consuming. So this is his rocker cover. As you can see, they are always very grimy, and because our customers obviously, we spend a lot of money to get a new engine or a built engine. So this is the process we do, is we remove all the cam adjusters, anything else. We're going to give this and put this for a soak in the parts washer, and I will show you what process that is, because it does take a couple of hours. These always get covered in crap, so we just give these a good clean down, getting all the nooks and crannies. I mean, this one's fairly clean now actually, just a few little bits of grime left to do, but probably the most time consuming part of this job is getting all this sealant out. I mean, this one's not actually too bad, but basically we have to we clean this face so it's like new really. The upper head cover is not that bad. This is the lower the lower crank cover, crankcase should I say. These are always mega grimy, so it's getting all the nooks and crannies, and again, sealant on this is just a pissing nightmare, because yeah, there's a lot of it, and as I said, we clean this completely. So whoever put this on last has been a bit generous, shall we say, with the sealant. So yeah, all that's going to come off, and then, as I said, we just get all the grime out where we can. Yeah, this is a very tedious process, getting all this crap out. Which always seems to be me doing this, Dave. Is that because I'm an expert on it? No? Yes. It's actually quite therapeutic. A few hours later, so this is how we want to get it basically. So as you can see, no traces sealant. Well, there's a little bit there actually, we'll take off. So yeah, so I just need to clean all this up now, get all this corrosion deposits off. On the side, this does need flattening. Where is it? Just here. Just need to fettle this where they've obviously pried the sump off. But yeah, that's not an issue. You can fettle that right down, smooth it off. So yeah, it is a long process, but if a job's worth doing, it's worth doing properly, isn't it? Yeah, it's looking much better now. What I'll do is dry this off. Dry this off and then give it a bit of a scrub. And get all this sealant out and clean all this face. And here we go again. See the sealant on the cylinder head, they use I think it's an anaerobic sealant. You just see how it crystallizes, almost crystallizes, so it's going to be a bugger to clean off. So this is a stock engine we've just rebuilt for a customer. So it's had a new crank, new bearings, top end's been overhauled, leak tested, new gaskets, new timing chain. But yeah, it is only stock, but you can just see we get it all nice and clean. It looks nice, doesn't it? Yeah, same with the lower cover. So this is almost ready to go back into the engine. It is a manual. We've got a DSG crank in there at the moment, so we just need to pull the needle bearing out and get the flywheel on, and that can go in the car. But anyway, yeah, so we do like them to get looking nice. So this is Chris's lower crank cradle. I'll just show you. That is what we're wanting. So all the sealant galleries are all completely clear, so we know we're going to get a good seal. And then there was a bit I had to fettle down yet, just there in the corner, as I said, where they'd prized the sump off. That's all fettled, so that's all ready to go. So that it's a couple of hours to get it to that condition, believe it or not. We do put some VHT spray paint on there to make it look pretty. So yeah, and here we go, a few hours later. I suggested to Chris we paint this red, so this is VHT paint, very high temperature paint. It's just going to look really nice, it's going to go with his calipers. But as you can see, it is absolutely immaculate now, and that is the condition we want to see him at. Not only that, but all the sealant galleries are all completely clear as well, so we know we're going to have a good mating face, and that sealant is going to bond and seal as best as it can. So yeah, I'm not sure if I mentioned, we got Louis' car in. Quite an interesting one, this. So we were actually at Unicorn when this was on the dyno. We were picking up Tyrone's car. I don't know if you remember Tyrone's car. I fitted fuel pumps to this. We did his injectors, something else. Anyway, it was pulling timing on the dyno. It wouldn't make over 460 horsepower. I mean, this runs a Turbo Technics V5, so this should have been sailing past. But the issue was it was pulling timing. Now, I asked the customer to compression test the engine. This is his engine here. I don't think you're going to see this. Let me just get a torch. So yeah, so basically it was pulling timing quite badly at 460 horsepower, and the reason being is oil was getting into the cylinders and causing cylinder overpressure, or triggering the knock detection. And you can just see the edge of his pistons just start to melt away, which obviously lost compression, and that was the reason why it was struggling. So we have got this engine to build. You can see the state of the block. It is it's been overheated, this engine. Maybe not in his ownership, but we also got a thermostat issue, which that's his thermostat there. Now this is an old, I think this is a G. Yeah, this is a G, so this is an old revision. You can see it's had an issue for a while. Customer wasn't aware of any coolant leak or anything, but if you look at the later revision, I mean, here's one we've taken off an engine which is broken. You see it snapped there. So this is a P, revision P, and you can just see little subtle differences, such as that hole is no longer there. So yeah, so we have got a couple of spares of these, but I just say to the customer, you're better off, because we obviously don't know what miles them spares are done or when they're going to fail, and if we've got his engine out and we're building it, then just put a new thermostat on, isn't it? So yeah, So we're going to get his crank out Monday. We've got his pistons, his rods, and we're going to send that away to the machine shop, get his piston to oil tolerance done, cylinders bored, rehoned. Then we can start putting that back together, and I imagine in a week it'll be back in, where we'll do 500-mile running. Then the customer can have it back and make all the power he wants on the dyno. So yeah, so a few jobs I've done. We've done away with the fuel regulator. I don't know why. I mean, I know why you put it on, but personally, I don't think you should put anything on that the ECU has no control over. So this was originally, it's the American way to do it, really, because the Americans don't have MPI, which is the, this top rail here. Americans don't have this stock. This is a European thing, really. Volkswagen Audi introduced it to combat emissions, and it also helps keep the back of the valves clean as well, because you've got washer on the back of the valves. Anyway, so we've got to replace this line because this went to the regulator. This fuel return, which we can just loop over and do it to the stock way. But yeah, it's an American way of doing things. So this setup on this, the low pressure pump went to the regulator, which went through the MPI rail and then into the high pressure pump. So high pressure pumps obviously got their own regulators, which is here, which the ECU has control over. We'll just see Chris's pump over here. So this was blanked off, so basically just put a pipe on there with a blank. So we will be reverting this back to the way it should be. We're going to drill this to 4.5 mil, just to relieve the amount of duty the low pressure pump has to fill that rail. You imagine, I mean, it's a bit damaged, this, but there's a tiny hole in it. I think it's 0.8 millimeter. So we open it up to 4.5, which just allows consistent rail pressure, especially under the throttle. Anyway, so I've just mocked up his screamer pipe. So yeah, so this runs an external wastegate, which is where the power is at on these vehicles. You can see the screamer just goes straight down for the tunnel. Other things I have done. So yes, so this is his main engine loom, which we are replacing because this is an older revision. It's got a single coil pack ground, which feeds all the coil packs. Where the later revision, I think we've got a loom over there, I can show you now. The later revision has individual coil pack grounds. You can just see here. So we are going to replace his loom, just make this engine as best as we can, because it's going to be pushing a hell of a lot of power. So yeah, you can see also a lot of dirt and grime. I mean, you see where I've wiped my finger there. So said to Chris, the customer, whilst the engine's out, we'll give it a bit of a clean, and that's what I've started doing here. So yeah, it's never going to be immaculate. I mean, there's always a dull finish on the engine bays from factory anyway. But yeah, just a bit cleaner, looks nicer. And again, it's bonnet. So I see this a lot on these cars, and it's always one of three things really. So I'll just show you on this engine. So this is the upper timing cover. These have a rubber gasket basically. Once they start failing, typically they start leaking from down here. The seal on the back of the cam adjustment magnets, they can start going. If you ever look as well into the engine bay and you see oil residue around here, around there, cam adjuster magnets, and also that we've got a rubber seal on here which starts failing under high oil pressure. You start getting that. So we're replacing all them seals anyway on Chris's engine. But yeah, we just need to give that a good clean. He did have a catch can here as well, so possibly a bit of that's from the catch can. But I mean, this was absolutely caked, worse than this side. You can just see the bit there where I've not quite got to. So yeah, it's a small things, isn't it? I think, you know, the job's worth doing properly. Anyway, so we have got a lot of content to do on this car, pending on, because we have got a quite tight schedule for this. So there's a few things I've already started doing. Obviously we've segregated a lot of the parts. The injectors we sent away, which is the MPI. So this went to Artec, or the fuel injector clinic. It's 1200cc injectors, and we found, lo and behold, cylinder 3, which is one that melted. Because the reason why we got this engine is it melted the piston in quite a bad way. I'll show you a picture now. So yeah, so that injector was way down, and number 4 wasn't far behind it actually. So we've had them sent away. They've come back now all fresh. They do a great job, the fuel injector clinic. Really quick turnaround. They're just a pleasure to work with. I mean, Artec, they're right up there, aren't they? So yeah, so here's direct injectors. A bit of a monstrosity this. So this car was built by a well-known tuner. I mean, I'm not slagging them off, but this is the way they do things. So these injectors are not stock. They're not specific to this engine. So they've basically hardwired these. I mean, the difference is they do flow a bit better. If you look at the size of this feed hole, it's much larger than the stock ones. But the issue when you hardwire injectors like this is if one of them goes down, A, you can't really test them. They can't go into a ANSU machine connecting like that. And 2, you have to basically replace the whole loom, or I mean, you can sort of redo that, I guess. But anyway, we've gone for the newest revision stock injectors. I've got them here. So we got all new, well, not all new, but a lot of new parts for this this engine. So they are latest revision. Stock DIs which we'll put in. I have got a loom to give him. They've just gone down the back somewhere. See you later. So yeah, really exciting. So this car, as I said, has got absolutely everything you need. So we've got dual exit exhaust, battery relocated. These are his alloys in the back. We've got a Devil's Own meth kit, PM4 fuel controller, and then we have obviously the Plex boost controller down there. A few other trick things. Nice Corbu seats. So it's definitely worth spending a lot of money on this car. I think that's it for now. We are going to do quite a bit of content on this car, obviously. It's going to get quite a lot of interest. So stay tuned. We are going to try and show as much of this mess as possible and the process as possible. Because as I said, a lot of customers think we just bolt parts together and that's that. But every part has to be checked, has to be cleaned, has to be right. Because otherwise, anything happens, they're going to come straight back to us, aren't they? So yeah. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I imagine everyone's going to want to see this build. So we're going to actually go down to Devil Developments, do a first drive, the whole lot with this one. It's going to be a really special car, a really fast car. But anyway, if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us out massively. And we'll see you in the next one. I've just finished, excuse me, putting aircon. He wants aircon back on this car. So we've just fitted this come off S3 and a Golf Mark 7.5R. So yeah, I was looking for the pressure switch connector, which is here, and quite cleverly they connected this to it. So what this is this for the flex fuel sensor. So it only needs a positive and a ground, and obviously they've gone off that, so we can relocate this basically. I usually put this side of the engine towards the battery. So yeah, but another thing I've been doing, you can just see the state of this. So yeah, I said to Chris, well I said to the customer, whilst it's out, you might as well clean it up a bit.